The house had been empty for years. At least, that's what people said. They passed by without looking, without wondering. The paint had peeled itself into curls like forgotten letters, and the porch had bowed under the weight of waiting far too long. The windows stared back at the world, silent and still, as if trying not to hope someone might peer in. No one ever saw the lights turn on. No one ever heard the hinges move. It was just there at the end of the street, holding its breath year after year as if someone might finally notice it again. But inside, there was dust, and dust does not come from emptiness. Dust settles on what once mattered. Dust gathers where people once stood. The furniture remained, still arranged with care, like the room was paused mid-thought. A cup sat on the kitchen table, long dry, but the faint ring of coffee still clung to the surface like a quiet memory refusing to leave. A jacket hung near the door, shoulders long missing. Upstairs, the bed had stayed made, no wrinkles, no warmth, no weight. And in the hallway, the clock on the wall had stopped, not because it broke, but because no one wound it. The house wasn't empty. It had been left behind. And there is a difference. A house does not know abandonment. It does not understand why footsteps stopped echoing, why laughter stopped carrying through the vents, why hands no longer brushed across the banister with the rhythm of living. It only knows the imprint, the waiting, the shape of what should still be here. Because houses at their core are made for return, for someone to come back, to unlock the door, to say, sorry it's been so long. So it waits. It waits as seasons pass, as vines trace their way up its bones. It waits through storms that rattle its windows and sunrises that never touch its floor. It waits when it forgets what it's waiting for. Because it cannot choose not to. It was built to be wanted. It does not know how to stop hoping. And there is something unbearably cruel about that, because to be forgotten is one kind of sorrow, but to be forgotten while still waiting, while still hoping, while still listening for footsteps that will never return, that is something else entirely. That is the kind of grief that settles in the walls, that makes the silence feel heavier than the years. That is what makes a house begin to creak in the night, not from wind, but from longing.